Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ari. So this is the Strand book box. Hello, interrupting here for just a second. The video that I wanted to put up today, I'm not quite done reading all of the books for, so it's going to go up tomorrow. Instead, today I'm going to put up this video that you're watching right now, that is an old book box. And to explain why it's an old book box, this box was supposed to be delivered in September, and the address change didn't go through in time, and apparently it got delivered to my old house, and I contacted the company about it and they said they'd send me a replacement box. Well, I didn't get the replacement box until December, when in like a day or two before I got the actual December box, which you saw the unboxing video for that on Tuesday. So this is the unboxing video for the September Strand box, which I didn't realize when I was unboxing it until I got another box a couple of days later. So this is a bonus video. The video that was supposed to be today will be up tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central, just like usual. And thank you for your understanding as I apparently read these books way slower than I thought I was going to. Anyway, on to the rest of the video. Let's just crack into this. As always, you guys get first peek, and it's just a red piece of paper. Super not exciting. Alright, let's start with a snack that we got in here. This is Rip Van Waffles Snickerdoodle flavored stroopwafel. These things are delicious, and I already know what this tastes like, so I'm not going to do a taste test, but I am going to make a coffee after I finish recording this video and then eat this. So yes, thank you. Next up, I've got like a movie game is what that looks like. Like a sci-fi movie game. Okay, so each card has like a status on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but I guess you pick one of those. So this one would be like future foresight is 100, and then if this person's future foresight is 95, then I would win. But if this person calls out their dystopian index, which is 100, then they would win over this one, which only has a dystopian dystopian index of 76. And I guess that's how this works. It's a very weird little game, but sure. Next thing in here, it looks like I got more tea. I only see the one package for now, but there might be more. This is just black tea. And that's all the goodies, which gives us the books. Why is this so washed out anyway? The first one I have is Relics by Tim LeBron. I don't know what this is about. Let's see. There's an underground black market for arcane things. Akin to the trade in rhino horns or tiger bones, this network traffics in remains of griffins, fairies, goblins, and other fantastic creatures. Okay, so black market for fairy things. Cool, fine. I'll take it. And then this one looks like the new book, which is Mordu by Alex Pimby, which I've never heard of. Okay, this one starts out, God is dead and his corpse is hidden in the catacombs beneath Mordu. In the slums of a sea-battered city, the young Nathan Treves lives with his parents, eking out a meager existence by picking treasures from the living mud and the half-formed, short-lived creatures it spawns, until one day his desperate mother sells him to the mysterious master of Mordu. So, yeah. That's all I'm gonna read. This sounds pretty typical fantasy. Nothing super exciting. It does come with a signed book plate, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna read both of these books and come back here in a second for you and let you know what I think about them. First up is More Dew by Alex Phoebe. I think I said Pimby earlier, but that's just because I'm dyslexic and I can't read. But this is the main book in the box, which I could tell because it's got a signed book plate in it, but this is nonsensical. Like, this is awful. It doesn't make any sense at all. It reads kind of like a middle grade for adults, because of the themes around it, but still reads like a middle grade, but it's so complicated and the world is not properly described. So I'm gonna give you kind of a rough idea of what I'm talking about. The first like 10 pages right here are the dramatis personae, or like the people that you're gonna find in the book, right? So you have to have a description, 10 pages of descriptions of characters. And there is literally 100 pages of glossary at the back of that book, of this book. That is how complicated this universe is it requires 100 pages of glossary. And the small things that you would find in a glossary, like, I don't think it needs 100 pages of glossary, but I get the idea of, it's a fantasy world, there's a few things people might not understand, put a glossary in the back of it, fine. But the behaviors and the choices of characters seem to be based on this universe, where I might make a decision based off of my upbringing. The characters in this book make decisions based on their upbringing, and those decisions are not intuitive to us, and so they make no sense, and there was not enough world building. Like, Alex Phoebe didn't do any world building, he just put all of his world building in a glossary. So there's not enough world building for me to understand why these characters made these decisions. And so this book is utterly confusing and just frankly awful because of it. My final major issue with this book is just the vast amounts of misogyny in here that never really seem to have a purpose to it. All of the characters kept telling women that they smelled awful. Something about them being able to menstruate fucks with the master's ability to cast spells, and so the stench of them was offensive, which is fucking absurd. And then the use or threat of prostitution was prevalent in this book, and I am fine with people choosing to do sex work. There is absolutely nothing wrong with sex work unless somebody is forced into sex work against their will. And one of the female characters was constantly threatened with being forced into sex work, and it didn't make any sense why. So like, all of the misogyny and all of the hatred towards women in this book, it was just coming from every angle and super prevalent. But again, with the world building, it wasn't explained why this was necessary, and there was nothing in the plot anywhere that made the misogyny necessary. So I don't know, but frankly this book is awful, and I don't recommend it to anybody. Now, the other book that we got in this box is Relics, and this is kind of a fantasy mystery, I guess is how we're gonna call it. But this is like a real world fantasy equivalent where there are relics of like fae creatures, and they're like fossilized remains or whatever of fae creatures, and this guy Vince is really, really good at finding these relics, and that's kind of what he does. But his girlfriend, who is our main character, Angela, does not know that he does it. She thinks that he sells properties or something like that, or hunts property, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But Vince goes missing, and Angela has to find, or doesn't have to, but she's in love with him, so she has to find Vince. And then she discovers this underground of fossilized Fae remains, but then maybe the Fae aren't as dead as we think they are. So this is basically her finding Vince and a lot of like mystery elements, like a detective crime novel or whatever, but fantasy. It was okay. I don't particularly care for this kind of story to begin with, but I didn't have any problems reading this, and if it sounds interesting to you, I have nothing really against it. The only thing that I like actively didn't like was their relationship. I think Angela was a bit too obsessed with Vince and in love with him for all of the lies and betrayals. But that just could be because I'm snarky and I don't put up with bullshit like that. So I thought she was a bit too willing to risk her life for this guy who did nothing but lie to her. But it wasn't honestly the worst thing that I've ever read. It was okay. I think I ended up giving it a 3 stars. But that was everything in that box. Let me know what you thought of it down below. Did you think the items were cool? Either one of the books sound good to you? Let me know. Bye.